Welcome back, everybody. Lost Boys Cypher Circle is back in session. If you don't know what Lost Boys Cypher Circle is, it is a show where I bring, it is a community where I bring artists of all kinds in to share and express themselves in whatever way they see fit through poetry, music, writing, painting, digital art, sometimes 3D printing, all sorts of crazy shit. And it is all just as amazing as the next. And it all allows people to come on here and express themselves to their fullest. So that's really what this is about. Because that's why I say it's more than just a show; it's a community, and it's more than just a talent show. It's our therapy session. It's a place where we can all come together and just um, express ourselves through art without any judgment, any backlash, any ridicule, anything like that. It's a really safe space. So if you're an artist and you would like to come share your art on the show, please message me on Facebook at Dylan Lawler or email me at lostboy420x@gmail.com. That's Dylan Lawler on Facebook or lostboy420x@gmail.com. And make sure you go subscribe to us on all the platforms. Right now, you'll find the video episodes that we do live every week at Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and YouTube, and also Twitch for you gamers who requested that I put it on Twitch. It is also on Twitch. You will also find auditory episodes or audio episodes on Spotify, and there are they are not caught up to date on the other platforms as of yet. We are working on that. But there are some of the audio episodes if you'd like to go experience those on some of these other platforms here: Google, Amazon, iHeart, Pandora, and anywhere else you can find your podcasts. We're up there. And always a subscribe and a follow always helps on any of those platforms. So make sure you go give us a subscribe and follow, and look out for new content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we also have what I like to call this show's sister show, a side show, a branch off, shall we say, called Lost Boys Presents Deep Cuts. And it is a show where I bring artists up one-on-one to kind of go deeper into their brain, deeper into mine, kind of, work out what makes us tick more. We have more time to spend with each other one-on-one, so we're able to go deeper into certain conversations, and it's a lot of fun. We've made about 7 episodes. I'm recording some new ones. I've already got people scheduled to record some new ones. Actually, I'm recording one tomorrow that you guys are going to love. So make sure you check out the Lost Boys Presents Deep Cuts episodes on the Lost Boys YouTube, and please make sure you go subscribe when you do. Sorry. If you would like to donate to us at all, please donate to us on Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. Anything from 10 cents to $10 will help. Lost Boy 420X is the tag on all those cash services, and we appreciate anything that you can spare. Now, before we get into the show, because it is our therapy session and our means of expressing ourselves, sometimes things can get a little triggering. And that can be for any variety of reasons, and it can be on any variety of subjects. And we understand that what might be okay to listen to for one person might set somebody off or trigger someone else. And that is not our intention. We are not here to trigger anybody, but if anybody is triggered in the slightest, feel free to click out at any time, whether it be artist, audience member. I mean, obviously you don't like it, don't listen. And it sounds harsh, but also no one will fault you in the slightest and be mad at you or count you out, whether it be audience member or artist. Even if you decide to click out, we do understand that things can get triggering, and that's not our intention. So please, if you start to feel like that, please come back next week. Like I said, we do this every week, Saturday, 9 p.m., or you can just come back later in the episode. So that being said, I do always, not that I this is not a platform for me to preach, or I try to give people drops of advice here and there when I can. But at the end of the day, I'm really not the person to be giving people advice. I struggle day to day myself, and I am usually the youngest person on the show. All my guests that I bring on here are much older, so they have much more life experience than me. So I would say that I'm not necessarily the one to be giving advice. So I try to just give one little drop of it at the beginning of the show. Just as my little 2 cents for anybody who might be struggling with mental health or just struggling in general with anything. And that's really just to not keep it bottled up inside, not keep it um, locked up and contained and under a mask that you think that you can't let it slip and you can't let anybody see behind because you feel like no one will understand you. I'm here to tell you that there are people that will understand you, and the only way you're going to find those people is reaching out and talking. And the only way you're going to relieve that pressure that's on you is by sharing it with someone and talking and relieving that burden. You can't carry the weight of the world by yourself. So don't be ashamed to seek help. And whether that be from a coworker or a friend or your mom, your dad, whatever it is. I mean, sometimes even just talking to like a cat or a dog, somebody who can't even talk back to you, sometimes that helps. But point is, don't keep it in, let it out. And by all means, this show and this community in general, if you'd like to go join the Lostboys group on Facebook, is a great place to express your feelings and let that shit out. So and any of these artists in the Lostboys group would probably be happy to talk to you any day of the week, including myself. So yeah, just reach out, man, and don't keep it bottled up. And that is my 2 cents. And with that being said, we're going to get into some poetry. I'm going to do this piece called Beneath the Surface. Some of you may have heard it. I know I have done it on this show at least once. It's a spoken word piece. It's not one of my lyrical miracles. Or anything like that. It's just a spoken word piece. And yeah, I really don't know. I really don't have much to say about it. So I'm just gonna let it speak for itself, I guess. It's called Beneath the Surface. On the surface, there is peace, an almost palpable stillness that fills the air with that fills the air so completely that one could almost feel the atmosphere vibrate with the tension of such absolute silence and tranquility. Beneath the surface, though, beneath there is a battle being fought against nature itself, a struggle of mind and body, of soul and spirit, of life and death. It starts with something small, a thought, a particularly vivid memory, a passing glance at some long forgotten keepsake, a small innocent drop of chaos that will, of course, do what it does best and expand into something uncontrollable and uncontainable. It comes over you in waves, like the slow creeping effects of a drug. With each passing thought, you can hear your blood pumping faster and faster, and your breaths getting shorter and shorter. You can feel the cold, merciless grip of something you can't quite name closing around your chest. With each breath you take, your lungs just seem to get tighter and tighter. A slow, steady pressure starts to build in your head like an impending volcanic eruption. Finally, through the haze of confusion and tension, you realize you're drowning. Drowning from the inside, and there's no one to pull. Drowning from the inside, and there was no one coming to pull you up from these dark, murky depths. Then comes the panic, the fear, the desperation, the need to do something, anything to save yourself from sinking deeper. You feel out in front of you, grasping for any support you can use to pull yourself back to the surface, but you've sunken so deep you can no longer tell which way is up. You struggle to find your sense of direction in the dark. In this endless prison, you know that fighting will only rob you of what little strength you have left. The darkness is closing in now, making everything else start to fade into nothingness. The last bit of air is pulled from your lungs as you let out one last cry for help. But all that is seen on the surface is one meaningless ripple in an ocean of sunken ships and giant icebergs. And that's beneath the surface. And I hoped you liked it. I hoped, past tense. I hope you liked it. And that being said, I'm going to bring up our first guest of the night. Some of you may remember her. She's been on quite a few times before, but I think not for a little bit. But Miss Tasanya is back once again. She is a poet and an energy reader. You guys can go follow her on Facebook at Tasanya Gray or on Instagram at Tasanya Rochelle. I am going to play her flyer and get her up here for you guys. Welcome back. Are you back? There you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
I noticed, I think that I have the wrong information in my intro because it is updated on your flyer and not in my intro for some reason. And I'm not quite sure why that is. I apologize for that. But
That's
so
okay.
yeah, so I guess you have because you created the light page on Facebook, which I had
Mhm.
completely forgotten about. Um, I don't know why I have an old intro here for you. I apologize for that. Um, but just in case people didn't see it. That's light on Facebook, and then Sonia underscore Gray 2024 or yeah. Um, I apologize for that faulty intro, but welcome back. How long has it been since you've been here? A little bit, right?
Yeah, probably about a month. Probably about a month or so.
Well, welcome back. We are happy to have you. How have you been? What have you been up to?
Well, I was supposed to come on last weekend, but I cracked my head open, so that didn't happen.
Yeah. How are you feeling? Are you
Better.
making a
I
recovery?
got my
That's good.
stitches out yesterday.
Good. You didn't fall asleep with the concussion, did you? That's
No, no, I'm
I
good.
hear that's bad. Yeah, that's good. I remember when you said it, I was like, I think I remember saying something to the effect of like, don't I would say get some rest, but don't do that because you have a concussion
Yeah,
or something. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're making a great recovery and you got your stitches out and everything. So fantastic. And I'm sure that it is not rattled your brain too much to write some amazing new poetry. Is this
I haven't actually written anything in about. I don't think I've written
you know
since
what you should do? You
early.
should write something about the accident, like about the whole experience of it from start to finish, like the even the recovery
I don't
process. That would
remember it.
be a ooh, damn.
Yeah,
You must have really fucking whacked it.
yeah,
Jeez. Jesus. Oof.
yeah. I
I
don't
mean, because
remember hardly
I
anything from that day.
I don't know if you can see on camera, but through my eyebrow, there's a
Yeah.
big there's a big scar, and that was I think 12 stitches. Um, that was, but I remember every second of that. If you and I could see, I remember going up, and looking in the mirror and like being able to see like into my like my scalp and
Oh,
yeah. Wow, that's you must have really fucking took in a
Yeah.
fucking beater. That's crazy. Well, I'm so glad that you are back to recovering then, because
Yeah.
wow.
I haven't written anything in a while. I've been doing a lot of painting. A lot of
Painting.
painting.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So what are you sharing with
I
us tonight? Are you
think
sharing poetry? Are you sharing paintings? Are you sharing a little bit of both?
no, I'm sharing poetry tonight.
Okay, cool. Cool. You know what
I think
you know what I also love about you, where you're always like you make your style part of your artistic like image, and every time you're on the show, and people who have been watching the show will notice this, is you'll send me a different picture, and you'll look almost completely to either you have your hair in braids or it's done up, or you just have this big afro and it is a different color every
mhm.
time. You have either glasses or no
Yeah, I
glasses. Like
always try to
you
do
make
something
your like
different.
you really yeah. It's like I have never seen someone uh go through as many style changes, and it's like such a cool part of your like it feels like part of your like um artistic mo, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
um just like something that's just uniquely you, like we can expect to see just
something
you.
different every
Yeah, something
time.
different every time, which yeah, I really like that. I really like that, and I like that you're painting too. um you didn't oh you do, okay, you do have artist up on there. Light worker,
Uh-huh.
poet, artist, and energy reader. Light worker. All right, before we get into your poetry, tell me a little bit more about that, because that's not something I have heard you really talk about. Tell me a little bit about
Okay,
that.
so a light worker is just somebody who spreads light and love, who can transmute darkness to light. You know, because it's in our darkest times, in our darkest moments, that we're able to help each other find light. You know, it's through those dark times that we're able to actually help each other, where
I
we're able to
100% agree.
empathize with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree. And that's really, I mean, the whole essence of what I try to do here, at least, is and in essence, the if you look at the artwork here, that is kind of what this symbolizes, right? Is
Hmm.
trying to find that love, trying to find that light in the
Through the
darkness.
darkness.
It obviously also represents ink splattered on a page, which is a double, kind of a double entendre. But that's really why I like, or why I kind of came up with this um like motif, so to speak, like with the
Hmm.
heart and the black, is because it's about trying to find that love and that connection and that peace in the darkness, and you can only do that. It, I
Is it
believe
if you've
together,
been in the
together,
darkness?
like you're and it's not to say you can't find your way, because at the end of the day, like it is all on you and your own self motivation and your own drive to get yourself through the
Hmm.
darkness. But we can't, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, like you can't be afraid to seek help. Like you have to be able to seek help, and essentially be able to see that you need others to help, through your
Yeah,
journey.
and
You
that's the
need
problem. There's such a stigma on therapy. You know, you tell someone, you know, you need to go get help. That, well, I don't need therapy. Well, there's different forms of therapy than just talking to someone. You know, my therapy
right.
is my art.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and that's it's really, at the end of the day, like an art, it can be even if it's a performance art, like say um a play, right? Even if it's a performance art or something like that, or a spoken word piece, that's definitely performance art. It has a certain level of, if it which actually I should say, if it doesn't have a certain level of like personality, like singularity to the artist, like this seems like it is a reflection of them as a person, and they put themselves into it, and
Hmm.
and if I feel like an artist is writing something strictly for the sake of the performance, it doesn't seem as authentic or as genuine to me.
Right.
At the end of the day, I think art should be a an outlet, a therapy, a way for an artist to express their inner demons or just their inner thoughts. What even if they're
Yeah.
good thoughts, and they don't have to be dark ones. But and you do have a lot of artists who are just strictly in it for whether it be the money or the performance or whatever it is. And that's not to say that they can't make technically good pieces, but to me, it just doesn't feel as genuine. And
Hmm.
yeah, that's exactly what I believe art should be is an expression and a therapy and an outlet. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
that being
your
said,
art is something that somebody can never take from you.
and that's absolutely that is the most comforting thing about it too, is at the end of the day, no matter what, I know that like whatever happens is I can be alone with not only my thoughts but be alone with my art. And like I'm not going to go into too much detail, but something happened at like in the middle of the night last night, um and I was upset, and I ended up staying up the rest of the night and kind of just like I locked myself in the bathroom for a little bit because I didn't want to like be in the living room and like keep everybody awake and shit. And I was just like, I was like part of my like there was two things going through my brain. Like I was like I cracked the drink and I was like, all right, I'll just fucking drink until I get tired enough to go to sleep. And then I started writing like a couple sips in, I started writing and I completely like forgot about the drink and I just like zoned in. And like I was texting my brother and we were sending each other verses, and me and him are working on some songs together. And it just like really saved me from like a very self-destructive night. You know what I mean? And it was
Yes.
just like and that was that was last night. It was like and it got
That's
me
how you know
thinking.
you're growing too. Because when you can pick
Right.
up a pen and not a bottle, then
Hmm.
you're growing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and it was like a really like eye-opening moment for me, and it was just like like, and it's not to say that like my first instinct is to always like get high or get drunk or whatever, but it's more like I realized that like m- my art should be like I feel like I haven't like this is just lately is like I haven't been making it my go-to, right? And it should be my first go, right? It's and I had this like
Hmm.
light bulb moment where I was like, yo, like and sometimes my go-to is going for a walk or whatever, and that's just as healthy. That's that's a
Yeah.
healthy coping mechanism too. But it just gave me this light bulb moment of like when I'm in that zone is the times I should be creating the most. Like that's when I should be writing because that's when it's going to be
Hmm.
the most authentic writing. Um,
Yeah.
and and I've always kind of like put myself into my writing. Like you've heard it, but yeah, like I have been kind of coming to terms with like just being more honest and open in my writing as well, and just using it more as a therapy. And because I
Hmm.
tend to sometimes, especially when you do a show like this, right, you get caught up in like I was saying, the performance aspect of it. And
Yeah.
um uh, so I have been working on like just keeping the authenticity through using it as a therapy, like you were saying.
Yeah.
uh,
You tell your guests that it's a therapy session. You need to use it for the same reason. You know, you help yourself just like you're trying to help everybody else. You need to help yourself as well.
mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and that's again like another thing that I love about this is that this show and this community, it helps me grow as a person, you know, and
I've seen your growth. You have
That's
grown a lot
that's
from
all
the
I can,
first
that's all I can
episode.
ask for
Yeah,
is to show like, and I try, and that's what I mean is like it helps me grow as a person. So the least I can do is try to give back and give people their spotlight and their shine and their, you know,
hmm
their props, and that's, so it's like, because you got to give and take. You got to let people have their shine, if you know what I mean. And
yeah,
that's really what I've like. It's the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you want done to you. If you want like that
exactly.
energy to, if you want that, you're an energy reader. You know all about this. If you want that energy to return to you threefold, you gotta put it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
what
gotta
you
pay
put
it
out,
forward.
you get back.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, let's get to your poems for the night.
Okay.
Uh, what do you got to share with us tonight?
The first one is we turn into poetry.
We turn into poetry. I was very intrigued by everybody's titles tonight. I have to say, when I got like everybody's titles in the group chat, I was very intrigued.
A
So
lot
yeah,
of my poetry
we get
is
that title up here.
I get prompts off of Pinterest and I just go with them.
All right. So is there? So was it just like what inspired this? Was it just a stray thought? A what did you come up with the
This
title
one was
first?
the title was a poetry prompt off of Pinterest.
Oh, off of Pinterest. Nice.
hmm
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. I don't even
Yeah.
I used to like do a lot of like writing prompts back in school, but I don't really do a lot of writing prompts anymore. I should get back into that. There's probably a lot of like
The majority
I
of my
remember
poetry is
doing
writing prompts.
I remember finding some of the most like unique angles and things that I could like ways that I could attack a subject from a writing prompt, and just like reading a writing prompt and being like, oh shit, I've never thought to think of it like that, or like put it in that aspect or whatever. You know what I mean? Um,
hmm
we turn into poetry. I like this. All right. Well, I'm gonna get myself out of here and I'll let you just get into it.
Okay. We turn into poetry. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale, air fills my lungs. Yours, mine, ours. Heartbeats. Hold. One, two, three. Release. Eyes locked. Cavern tight. Encapsulated like King Tut. What riches will you carry with you? I will carry you from this life to the next, to the next, to the next. Your name will forever be my first language, my love language. Fulfilled with the fulfilled with the touch of your hands. This is but a draft of our story, untold, unbidden, beyond understanding, intent on intimate conversations held out in the open. A freedom, a bird on golden wings, you help me fly. The ink in your veins spills onto my blank canvas, word to paper, perfect in their destruction. The caress sweet, almost painful, a dance in the pouring rain, cleansing, wash over me. The galaxies bleed into your eyes, the being within released, free. Eye to eye, foreheads kiss, moments past and moments captured, dangling our feet off the edge of existence. In this space, beyond time, you find me being me. You smile, I smile, and in a moment as short as a haiku, we turn into poetry. And that's that one.
Ooh, I like that. I really like that one. I like where you said our feet dangling off of the edge of existence. There were a lot of like really like um I'm searching for a word here that's not extravagant, but I'm going to use the word extravagant, I guess. Really like extravagant metaphors like that in there. And that's what I really, really loved about that piece was the the almost like cosmic um like the almost cosmic feel of it. You know what I mean? Like
hmm
it
And that's
felt,
the mood I was in when I wrote it.
yeah, it felt like listening to that poem felt like floating through a galaxy of stars. You know what I mean? I'm not really describing it very well, but it puts you in this like almost, or me anyway, it put me in this almost like um out of body, out of world kind of feeling. Um and
Yeah.
I loved the description, and like I have very rarely written much about love, though I write lots about uh all the other emotions. Um
Hmm.
for some reason I have very few love poems, and that's probably something I should talk to a therapist about as well. Um oh, hey, betterhelp.com people. Anyway, no, but no, that was like to me one of the best like expressions of a love poem, like or the expression of love, like a timeless thing that is more vast than a galaxy and more like just more elusive than the thoughts that I'm trying to get out of my mouth apparently. More elusive and just um God, what is this word that I am looking for? I know that there's one like perfect word that is like on the tip of my tongue that I had while you were reading it, and then it just like slipped away, and I'm been struggling to find it.
Yeah, that one it's like very cosmic, very spirit.
It
It's like more
yeah,
of a spiritual
there's like
connection.
yeah, it literally felt like the way you were describing love was one of the best ways I've ever like felt it described or heard it described and felt it described, because it to me, and that's why I struggle so much I think with writing love poems, because it is such this vast, like amazing, unknowable thing, and an undescribable thing. Like
Hmm.
you can't quantify a galaxy, you can't quantify love, like you know what I mean, you can't. It's like trying to put a fucking lasso on a tornado, or like wrestle a fucking mountain, you know? That's what writing about love to me is like. That's what it feels like. It's like
Yeah,
trying to put a lasso on a tornado, or wrestle a mountain or something like that, because it feels like such a big cosmic force that is just undescribable. And the way you captured that feeling is what I loved about it so much, because that feeling of it being such a cosmic force is exactly why I find it hard to write about love. And that's why I loved it and connected with it um, uh,
thank
so
you.
much on like a spiritual level, is because you really put into words what I can never seem to do, and and said everything I can't seem to say about love, um, without even saying much about it at all. Just in just sort of like blanket terms, you describe just the feeling of it, the vastness of it, you know, the certainty of it that it is. And
Hmm.
I love that you compared it to a galaxy in that way, and the stars or whatever in that way, because they're they're certain, they're like, you know, they're always going to be there, so and that brings a certain amount of comfort, the same way love would. Yet it is, you find it hard to describe it because it is still so vast and so unknown, and
Hmm.
so like
Like there's
you
just always so much more
and
you can say.
I met I met my current girlfriend 10 years ago. You could spend 20, 30, 40 years with someone and still learn more about loving them and them loving you, and just what love is in general. And that's how and that's why I love how you compared it to a galaxy, is because you could study the galaxy and space for at the till the end of time, and you could study love
Yeah,
till the end of
and still
time.
never
You
know the
never
rest
figure
of
out
it.
all the
Yeah,
answers. You never wrap it up, and somehow though in your poem you managed to do it without doing it, and it's just such a weird um or strange phenomenon that you created with that piece, just describing love while at the same time saying that it's indescribable. Phenomenal work. I love that piece.
thank
um
you.
I really love that piece. Yeah, that was great, and not at all where I thought you were going with that poem at all when I heard the title. But as soon as I heard like the first line, I was like, oh wow, this is I because like I was saying before with writing poems, sometimes you read something and like your brain takes it a completely different direction. And the way I like, and that props to you because that is not the direction that like I would have taken that, or I would have even like that wouldn't have even crossed my mind. But that was such a beautiful way that you took that, you know. Because when I heard the title, right, we turn into poetry, I would have hit it from the angle of like an artist, right? And
Hmm.
how we were talking about before you read your poem about how we kind of put ourselves into poetry and we turn into poetry. That's the angle I would have attacked it from. But the angle you attacked it from was so different from what I would have even thought, and like, but it was so beautiful that you like that was your like that's what your first thought was. You know what I mean? It was so like the way that you expressed that. I'm gonna stop talking now because I can't even do it justice. It is such an amazing fucking poem, such an amazing poem, and such like a expressive. Yeah, I don't have words for it. I don't have words for it. And that there is still a word that I'm still trying to find in my head that I knew I should have fucking wrote it down because I was like, it is exactly. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna start going on synonym fucking.com and start looking up fucking
Yeah,
because
you're gonna send it to me. Like that's what it was.
I don't have my notepad like right next to my computer. That's my one fault this episode is that normally when I have my notepad, like when I'm listening to a poem, I'll write down like, you
Mhm.
know, not like bullet points, but kind of like one word, like how this made me feel
Yeah.
and what. And there is one certain word that I still can't think of, but
You'll
amazing,
think of it.
all the adjectives. And I'm gonna bring these other artists up real quick to see what they thought about it. Um, Lawrence, what did you think, man? Oh, you're muted. Sorry, I was muted too.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I
oh,
can. There you go.
sorry, plugged in headphones.
You're good. Um. Uh, hold on. Hold on. I could hear you for a second there, and then hold on. All right, real quick. All right, so Kurt, it's telling me your mic is not connected. Robert, go ahead and say something real quick, just to make sure.
Hi.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay,
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Work?
Hmm. See, I could hear you before we started, and yeah, it's silent now. I don't know if you
Hmm.
plug something in, or
Is that
can you
better?
hear? Can you hear us? Yes. All right. I'm not exactly sure. Um, well, he figures that out. Robert, what did you think of Tasania's piece?
So, I tend to think in like images, pictures, and ah, I think he, the poem implied like movement to me. It went to so many places. I got this image of like this like astral figure, like made of stars and space, and whoever that was, that's the one you were reciting the poem to, and you're dancing with that figure from place to place, dancing to the places in the poem. So, like the edge of existence, and I think you mentioned water, uh, dancing near the water, just like moving from place to place in the poem. I wanna like see that poem animated. It's
Mm,
so
That would be really cool.
dynamic.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
yeah. No, yeah, for sure. From very vivid imagery. Um, all right, Kurt. It looks like I think your mic is connected now.
I
What
think I
did you
got it.
think? Yeah, you're good.
Oh, I like the beginning, the prompt, short lines, just a quick delivery of like just powerful words. It's like power chords in a song. Just click, delivers the message, kind of keeps the flow going. And then the way it was closed out was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Lawrence, do you have your mic situated yet? Do you think? You might have to click out and come back in. Try that, and we'll have you comment on her second piece here in just a minute. What's the second piece you got for us?
It is Touch Star.
Touch starved. All right, I will get
And
that up here.
it was a prompt too.
Oh, nice. And that so the name of the poem is the prompt. Touch starved. All right. I'm see because you blew my mind with how you attacked the last one. I want to see where you go with this one. I'm definitely intrigued. All right, I'll get myself out of here and let you get to it.
Okay. Touch Starved. Malnourished and underweight. Hunger eats at her, raw, frenzied. Pigs on a farm. She's starved for contact. A graze of fingers, lips on lips, tongue on tongue, tangled, devoured, eyes sunken and hollow, yearning to be looked upon, to be looking into another set, to be seen, depths of silky brown pools, like warm chocolate hazelnut spread, the dawn of creation swirling inside, lack of vitamin S, sensual security, hers and yours, doors open and thresholds crossed. Let her take you to new heights, to depths not explored, moments not yet captured, the taste of love that lingers on her tongue, honeysuckle sweet, innocent, a child's laughter with a woman's touch. Inhale, let her feel you. Summer kisses and winter tears, fall solitude and spring joy, butterflies that used to fly free through her soul have converted back to caterpillars, cocooned, trapped, waiting for release. A tomb of dust covered conversations, sparks kept in jars with lids screwed on tightly. Do not open, posted in clear letters. Enter you. Fear, enter you. Fear slowly replaced. Two souls meet, connect, evolve, surrender, exhale. No longer is she touch starved.
Ooh, I like that. I really like that. That in some ways it almost felt like it could be not necessarily like a continuation of the last one or anything like or it, but it felt like it could be like that one. It felt like it definitely belonged in the same book. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
those two pieces belong in the same poetry book together. And I'm not sure what that book is. That's for definitely for your creative brain to figure out. But those two pieces felt like they were symbiotic in a way. And they kind of and so I like your choice of first of all, I like your choice of pieces tonight to share with us because that was definitely a good
Thank you.
symbiotic relationship to share those two pieces. Um and just kind of how they fed off of each other in their concept and construction. And you know, like he was saying, you know, the short, concise lines and as I said before, my favorite thing about it is the metaphors and just the not necessarily abstract metaphors, but like again, you had this one at the beginning where I can't even remember what it was. It's like the swirling something of existence or something. Do you know what line I'm talking about? Could you read it again?
And this one,
It was towards
oh yeah, right there. It says, depths of silky brown pools like warm chocolate hazelnuts spread, the dawn of creation swirling inside.
yeah, like I love how you like your verbiage and your metaphors, how you work that together. Like I love that. That really there's a lot of people who will like kind of get like really extravagant with their word choice for the sake of it, but
Hmm.
you do it in a way that really makes me feel the emotion of it. You know what I mean? And whereas like the the complexity of it is still there, but it doesn't take away from the emotion and the impact of what you're saying. And I love the cadence in which you deliver it too. And you know, he commented a little bit on that. You know, the short, concise sort of lines with the cadence and kind of how you let it breathe a little in between each line, which is something I've been working on doing myself. And I was
Hmm.
actually talking to my brother about this last night, or I should say this morning. Is just letting your lines breathe so that we really hear you. And that's something you're really, really great at. I really love that. You take the time not only with the inflection and the cadence, but to really let it breathe and let your audience hear what you're saying. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, my favorite thing about it has to be the I want to call them I keep wanting to call them abstract metaphors, except that they're not necessarily abstract because I understand them perfectly. They create a very vivid image in your brain through abstract phrasing, if you get what I
Hmm.
mean. You know, you use abstract phrasing to create a vivid, concrete image. And I loved how you did that. And you did it in the last
Thank
piece
you.
too. Fantastic work. Fantastic work. Um, and I love again where you took that prompt. For sure. I'm gonna bring these other guests up and see what they thought. We're still trying to get Lawrence back, but I'm sure he'll join us soon. Um, Kurt, what'd you think?
Oh, I loved it. Same delivery, kind of flow went well. One of the lines I liked was a caterpillar back to the cocoon, to the cocoon, kind of like a retreat back to a safe somewhere where you a version of you that you feel safe in.
Mm,
That was pretty well written.
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, I like that too. That's yeah. Again, the way you use your metaphors to create those images and that feeling of you know like and I also relate to that feeling of like sort of going back into old habits or an old version of yourself because it feels safer. Or even if it, like, sometimes you'll watch like a show that you used to like really be into, or you'll, an old book that like used to be a favorite, and it's just sort of comforting.
Mhm.
It's like it's like a
Yeah.
you know comfort blanket. um and yeah, I do sympathize and connect with that too. Robert, what'd you think?
For me, it was kind of a emotional roller coaster a bit. Uh, it,
Shut up.
I, it started like very romantic and sweet, and I was I'm thinking like this poem would be great in a romance novel. Then you got about like 2 words in, right about the part about sparks in a jar. Right about then, I got worried that maybe it might go like in an unhappy direction. Uh, but it ended, and she wasn't touch starved anymore, so it was okay. I didn't have to worry anymore. But yeah, it was kind of like woo for me.
I like that, and I like when a piece can bring you up and down and move you in that way, because that's, to me, that's what art is supposed to do. That's what art is
Yeah,
supposed to do, and I love more than anything how in both pieces you really tell a story. You have very good like storytelling, even though it is a poem. It reads like a story and feels like a story.
And see, I don't,
So
I don't write
I,
much stories. I've tried, but I can't write stories.
well, I I'm here to tell you that you can, because you just did. And yeah. No, I mean, that's really all there is to say about it, because like I mean, though it may not be traditionally what you would think of as a story, you still told a story. It was still, it
Yeah,
had a character. It had I mean, I don't know necessarily a setting, but it had a character and a subject, and things were happening, and there were images, and it
yeah.
was a story. And I think that I mean, I bet that you even tell stories in your paintings and don't realize it too. Like, and that's one of the things I love. Though I
Maybe.
can't draw for shit, I love seeing the story that people can tell with different art forms, whether it be poetry or because that's like, even when you're writing like like a therapeutic piece for yourself, right? Like on a certain level, you're
Mhm.
telling a story, like you're telling your own story. You're telling, you know what I mean? So yeah, and you just do a really great job of like kind of creating that that movie in your head kind of thing, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I really appreciated your pieces, and we hope you can stay till the end, but if you can't, we understand. And thank you for being on here, and we will move on to our next guest of the evening. As soon as I get a sip of water, sorry guys. What? Oh, yeah, Brandon's experiencing difficulties. I'll help him in a minute. Okay. Our next guest of the evening is Mr. Kurt. I don't know if any of you will remember him, but he has been on, I believe, at least once before, if not twice. And but he has not been on for quite a bit. And he is a poet and a songwriter. I don't know why it says sing writer on my on my document here, but he is not he is definitely not a sing writer. He is a songwriter and a poet. And you guys can follow him on TikTok at kick trained artist. That's KICK trained artist. I'm not going to spell the whole thing. and I'm gonna get his flyer up here, and do I not have his flyer on the? Here, give me that. We'll kill two birds with one stone. I'll fix Brandon's problem and get his flyer up here for you guys, and then we will get him up here.
God, I love that.
Did that show up black at the end for you, or was that just me?
Uh, it looks fine for me.
No, it played okay. It played good for you. All right, cool. Hey, my computer is obviously having issues, but welcome back, man. Thanks
How
for
we doing?
being back on the show. How many times have you been on here? Is it only been once or
2 times before.
two? Yeah. Okay.
A couple years ago, I think 2 years, and then once
Yeah.
a year ago.
Yeah. We've been going for actually almost almost about 2 years now.
It was real early.
Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah. Well, welcome back. Appreciate you being back here. How you been? What you been up to?
Oh, just work. So,
I feel you. I
a
feel
lot
you.
of driving, a lot of writing. Just trying to get a few things done, get through winter.
Yeah. Winter is pretty rough where I'm at. It's been like between 0 and 10 degrees where I'm at, and yeah, I feel you. Just work, and the struggle of trying to find the time to write is probably one of the biggest hurdles because, like, at the end of the day, like it's to me anyway, like it's just as important as paying my bills, but unfortunately, to eat and survive and stuff like that, I have to go spend most of my time, at the day-to-day job for
Absolutely.
now until I can get, this art to pay the bills itself.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's the eventual goal. But yeah, man, I feel you. So for those of us who don't know you, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, besides work, obviously.
I do art, painting, photography. Uh, I just write songs. So I work with a few artists here and there, just kind of bounce ideas off of. I kind of help people through writer's block, and it does the same for me. Kind of just speaking it out helps kind of keep the gears uh, lubricated, if you
Hmm.
will. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. Just been working and do a lot of commuting, so just a lot of thinking and driving.
Yeah, I feel you. I actually, I my job is driving, so that's what I do all day long. And I'm that guy who like uses like voice memos a lot, because I have an idea popping in my head and it's got to get out there, but I also can't like type it while I'm driving. That would
Mm,
be very dangerous. So I'm that guy who uses voice, and technically you're not even supposed to do that. I don't think. I think you're not supposed to like use your phone at all, really, while you're driving. But that I'm definitely that kind of person who wait that was oh there we go. That's a recent comment. The other that was a comment from earlier. That's okay. You're good. Never mind. Brandon over here is. Thank you.
uh,
Thank you. Um Sorry, what did she say? Those were the comments from good nice one. Yeah, he's a little slow on the uptake here. No, those were the comments from the from earlier during the last piece. Well, when you were having difficulties. Sorry. Uh yeah. But no, I mean, to me, like, that's really what this community, everything is all about, is, not only like trying to find some kind of like community to, you know, help each other fight mental illness and stuff like that, but really also it helps to, like you said, keep the gears lubricated, like talking with other artists regularly, whether they be writers or painters. And that's why I let everybody on here, because like getting so many different perspectives helps you just like keep those gears turning and keep, you know, figuring out creative angles of your own, and being able to explore different things and think about things in different ways. That's why that's one of the main things I love about doing a podcast, is being able to, like you said, talk to other artists and feed off of them to kind of keep those gears lubricated.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you being on here. What is the first piece you got for us tonight?
Devil's Dotted Line. It's a song I started writing, and I'm not much of a singer, so I'm just gonna speak it out like it was kind of written. It has a decent little flow to it, I feel. So we'll just kind of talk it out.
All right, cool. I'll get myself out of here and let you get to.
The Devil's Dotted Line. I feel I've lived 1,000 lives, but I ain't been allowed to die. Every day as the sun does rise, I wonder if today's the day that I find that little bit of peace I've been searching for, the feeling that I was made for so much more. Lord, can you hear? I've never prayed before. My life is on the line. The devil showed up with a deal for me. He said he'd sell me the means to end my suffering. I ain't heard back, and he never sent me a sign. So I signed an X on the devil's dotted line. And that's it.
Ooh, damn, bro. I like that one. Especially that last line, right? Can you repeat that last line one more time?
Uh, the devil showed up with a deal for me. He said he'd sell me the means to end my suffering. I ain't heard back. You never sent me a sign. So I signed an X on the devil's dotted line.
Oof, that is such a good fucking line. And it really. Now, I'm as someone who's not religious, I still connect with that, and I still like appreciate that. And I feel like that is whether you are religious or you're not, that is something that everybody kind of inherently struggles with and inherently feels like even if you are a devout Catholic, right? There is things that happen in your life that it's like, if God's really here, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck is going on? Like, why is this guy out on the street in the cold in his fucking in the middle of winter? Why, like, just the shit that happens in your life? Why, like, I've had multiple friends pass away, or my mother passed away at 40 years old. Like, that last line really encapsulates that existential crisis that humans face of like, fuck it, like, you know what, the world is so fucked up, the world is so evil, and I ain't seen a sign that it's getting better or that some savior is gonna change it. So fuck it, right? Sign on the devil's dotted line. And I really I really vibe with that concept, and I love how you expressed it, and the whole story you told. It felt very like Devil Went Down to Georgia type deal. It was, yeah, it was very, very good. I have one that I like a small piece that I wrote called "The Devil Went Back to Georgia," and it kind of reminded me a little bit of that, and it definitely had that like what was that? Is that Charlie Daniels? Is that who made that song? Yeah,
Yep.
it definitely had that Charlie Daniels type vibe, for sure. And I really appreciated that like it kind of felt like that. I don't know if you've ever seen like the early 2000s Ghost Rider movie with
Oh,
Nicolas Cage, but where like he shows up in the circus tent and he has them like sign the contract and shit. Like it definitely gave those vibes because and anyone who is, to me, it kind of made like the like that's what the angle I hit it at with my piece is when I listen to songs like that, a lot of the time I think of like famous artists, right? Like Taylor Swift, who like got like completely destroyed and like they stole everything from her name, her fucking everything, and she's like one of the few that like figured out how to fucking get it back. But there have been so many artists over the years, and I've watched it happen, that I listen to, like hip hop artists and rock and roll artists that I listen to, like, and their bands, and they don't like. It's not even just because they don't read the fine print. It's because when they don't realize, and it's not just to do with the labels either, but like a lot of times when I listen to those type of songs, it makes me think of those labels and how when you're down at, like we were just talking about before, right? You have to work 40 hours a week to pay the bills, to feed yourself, to do all this, when really you want to just be making money from your art. And a lot of artists get to a point where they're so down and they're so sick of having to fucking do that grind and having to fucking just push through life and struggle through life, when they know, and you said it in your piece, that they know they're made for so much more. They know they can be so much more, and so they're just like fuck it, and they sell their soul to the devil, or in this case a label or whatever. And that to me is like it, like we were talking about at the beginning, art being authentic. The second you do that, I feel like your art starts to lose its authenticity. And that's not to say that all major label artists are unauthentic, because they're not. A lot of them do find ways to stay themselves, but you just sell. That's why I love the term selling your soul, because it takes a piece of you when you do that. And you know, and we all like to think, oh, I would never, or a lot of people like to think, oh, I'm going to do this completely independent. I would never sell my soul like that. I would never give up. But when you're faced with a $3 million contract and fucking you got to buy diapers, it starts to look, the other way. But yeah, I really liked your piece, man. That was great. That's great. I'm going to bring these other artists up, see what they thought. Lawrence, are you with us? Are you back with, hold on, actually. Let's see. Hello? No, we got the spinning bar of death. We got the little loading right. No. All right. Well, Robert, what'd you think?
I want to hear that song. I think it like made me think of Charlie Daniels too. The Devil went down to Georgia, and Robert Johnson, like meeting the devil at the crossroads. I think it belongs with those, and got me thinking, like, if I were that guy, would I sign the contract?
Right.
Think I probably would.
Right.
Yeah, I can't blame him.
Yeah, thank you. Robert Johnson's huge. I love Robert Johnson. I listen to a lot of his music.
Yeah. What kind of song? Is it like country
Uh,
blues?
it's gonna be more of a bluesy. I just put the lyrics together. I'm trying to figure out which route I want to take with it. It definitely needs to be a folk bluesy,
Mm,
grunge, like
Mm.
sort of the grunge blues that's been
okay.
going around. I just haven't learned how to play that way yet.
Mhm.
So working on that.
I really like that, and I really because you know what that man, more people need to make blues, and more people need to start making more like I don't hear rock and roll anymore either. Like I don't hear like actually like there are a few bands, but like I don't hear blues. I don't hear jazz no more either. Who the fuck plays jazz anymore? People there's a lot of like and man and I'll be the first to say blues and jazz are two of the like best, and I don't even listen to them on a regular basis, and that's because like I feel like I don't want the experience to be like worn out for me, because when I listen to blues or jazz or something like that, it like it has a certain effect on your mind and your soul, and just like it has like a calming kind of um introspective effect where it kind of like, to me anyway, when I listen to to folk music or blues, or like I said before, jazz, it kind of puts me in like this introspective like headspace, and just like this calm, and I feel like if I listened to it all the time, it would kind of like the effect would be ruined, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And but it is blues especially, and I've said this many times, there would be no rock and roll or rap without blues. It is like a foundation of music.
Oh,
And man, more people need to bring 2025, the year of bringing back blues. Let's make it happen, guys. Let's do
oh,
it.
absolutely.
Bring back folk and blues. You know who I used to listen to a lot, is this guy called John Prine, and I don't know if either of you have ever heard of him, but it's technically folk music, I believe, 70s. And this, I don't know, you just got to go check him out. John Prine, that's Prine. Um, yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, definitely just go check out the album Prime. That's Prime, Prime. It's a greatest hits album of his, and it is definitely uh on my list of one of the better albums. Um, and that's like period across all genres. I love that album, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. Like I said, it's folk music, but it's good music, and a lot of them are funny, a lot of them are soulful and kind of depressing.
Sure.
But yeah, it's if you like that kind of stuff, definitely go check out John Prine.
Absolutely.
Um, let's see, do we have Lawrence? Hey, are you with us back here? Frozen? Not
Yeah.
frozen?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you
There we
are.
go.
There you are. Yeah. Did you happen to catch Kurt's piece?
No, I kept getting kicked out and the
That's
spinning icon
understandable.
of death. So I did, and I apologize.
I
I only
understand.
heard Latanya, or yeah, Lashonda, or the first one. What was her name?
Tasanya.
Lashonda?
Tasanya.
Tishanda. Yeah,
You just threw out like
Tisanya. There we
6
go.
different names. You just threw out
Throw out every
6.
name in.
There were like, oh yeah, no, I mean,
And I
you were like that close with everyone, but not quite on the money. No, it's all right, man. It's understandable. We're glad you're back now, and hopefully you can stay connected long enough with
yeah.
us to read your piece. Um, uh, as a matter of fact, Robert,
I did.
would you mind if I had Lawrence go next, just so
Oh
we
yeah,
can make sure
yeah,
he gets all right. Well,
yeah. Sure.
first before that, we'll have Kurt read his second piece here. Um, but I am glad you are connected, and I hope you can stay with us. All right. So what's the second piece you got for us?
Just a portion of another song that I was been writing for about a year. Finally got somewhat of the sound done, but again, too many tweaks to have it released as a song yet. So again, I'll just kind of cadence it off. Uh,
All right.
it's called "There's a Place."
There's a place. All right. I'll get myself.
There's a place. There's a place where your pain goes out the window without a trace. And every time you feel the wind blow, it feels like a warm embrace. God, please take me to that place where the birds are singing and the church bells are ringing to the sound of amazing grace. Your kids are right there laughing because divorces never happen and your loved ones never go away. I can't take it here much longer. This hurting's getting stronger. Won't someone take me out of this race? God, please take me to that place. That's the portion I have so far.
Nice, man. I really like that. And I that was a much more like, I don't know, much more peaceful piece. And there's something like, okay, to me, like that place is not necessarily like a lot of people would think that in let me rephrase because I'm not I want to express this properly. If when you are in I'm so hard fighting for my fucking words tonight, huh? Jesus Christ. Um to me it feels like when I am struggling, when I'm in that dark place, right? When I'm in that dark, lonely place where the bad thoughts exist, where every thing that happens, you tend to like think the worst of it, right? And when you're struggling with whatever it is you're dealing with, it every day things start to like become gigantic in your brain, and when reality becomes so overwhelming, it is hard to it is hard to even slow down and like make yourself think about your own actions, let alone taking yourself to another place. And I think that like much like blues, meditation is something that should come back in 2025, because I think a lot of people have a very hard time just slowing down and like taking that breath, taking that moment to find that happy place, even for just a couple seconds. It doesn't have to be like you sit and like for like 20 minutes, but like it is so essential to take that moment, to take that breath, to take that, you know, moment to envision clarity and peace, and what that would look like, even if you can't obtain it in that moment. Just keeping that image of peace and tranquility in your brain and being able to visualize it with clarity, um, and take that moment to visualize it with clarity is something that I feel like, I mean, like 99% of us just don't do. We just like rush through life, and it's always just like this and that and on to the next thing. And it's just life has become, I feel like, a series of dealing with problems. And not a lot of people take the time to enjoy just being alive. And I think the essence of just being alive, or enjoying being alive, is being able to live in moments and find your your calm, find your peace, and that's like different for everybody too, right? For somebody it might be, you know, a mountain. For some people it might be just sitting in their bedroom with like a notebook writing or whatever it is. But being able to find your peace is something that I feel like a lot of people struggle with. And I think you really like encapsulated like what it would be like to like if more of us just took that moment, you know, and more of us just took that moment to really find our peace instead of just living life. You get what I mean? Like,
Mm.
um, yeah, no, I think you really encapsulated peace and what it means to be able to sit there and find your peace and find your safe space. And I like you actually you commented on a line into Sonia's piece earlier where you were talking about kind of um finding finding your happy space, kind of going into your cocoon and finding that tranquility and that solace. um and I feel like that's like you took that line and that's what that piece was. It was like describing what to you that looks like, that cocoon, for a better
Mm.
for better words. And you like elaborated on what it feels like to be in that safe space. um Fantastic piece.
Thank you.
I will bring these other artists up to see what they thought about it. um
Yeah, you can
Robert.
see me.
Yes, and Lawrence, we can hear you now, and you're not freezing, you're not jittering, you're good. Fantastic.
Uh,
Thank you for being.
yeah, I'm not spinning around and
Thank the technology lords for now. Let's hope
oh, you want
they
me to go?
continue
Okay.
continue to bless us
Hope it hands out
the
right.
rest of the show. Um,
Well, um, listening. Oh, do you want me to go or?
yeah, no, by all means, by all means.
Oh, okay. I get to actually comment on somebody's work tonight. Curtis, I really enjoyed that song. And actually, when you were reciting it, it took me to a song by Garth Brooks, The Dance.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of
Ooh.
played that song in my head while you were doing that. So I really appreciate the connection there. It was really really neat. And I like
Oh,
singing Garth Brooks a lot. And so he's
Oh
my go-to guy when I hear songs like what you did, Curtis,
oh
that's
that are
crazy because
more in tune to life.
yeah.
I thought you were gonna say the
What's that?
river because that piece really also reminded me of the
Oh,
song
really?
"The River." Yeah, my dad used to sing.
The
My
river.
dad loved Garth Brooks when I was growing up. He used to sing "The River" all the time, and especially
Wow.
some of the lines where he described like nature. It really like now that
Yeah.
you say Garth Brooks, yeah, it definitely reminded me of some of his work, but in particular,
Yeah, and it's the melancholy type of feeling that I got from it, and
Thank you.
sure.
absolutely. So good. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. And I was just kind of picturing the video and how he was relating that life is the dance that, we're
Mhm.
all here to say, it's a show, it's a thing that we all go through. And, it's very touching. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Robert, what did you think?
Um, I knew someone who worked in a hospice, and she told me that um, when someone there died, they would open the window in their room,
Yes.
so
Yep.
the spirit could leave. Um,
Yep.
your song got me. thinking about the like thinking about that, and that wherever this place is, the spirit is going there to what the place in your song. So that was in my head the whole time.
Mm. I like that perspective. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah,
That is good. That is good. Because when my grandma died, I did that. I walked to the window and opened it and said goodbye.
Hmm.
Yep.
I like that.
Very
I
touching.
really like
Thank you.
that. That's a perspective
Thank
I hadn't
you.
even considered, but yeah, it's something that I really like about art too. Is that we all kind of like take our own things from it and interpret it different ways. Like every song, every poem, like every person is gonna hear that slightly different, and certain lines are going to stick out to them differently because of their own personal experiences. And I love how we can all it's like Tasani was talking about earlier with prompts is just seeing our ability to see things from different perspectives. And I think that's like as artists, like that is our main strength, is our ability to tackle things and see things from different perspectives. But yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
And we will get to our next artist here. My man Lawrence is back and his mic is working. So we are going to take advantage of that and have him go right now. He is a poet, an author, and a teacher. You guys can go follow him on Facebook at Unexpected Poet and Author. On LinkedIn at Lawrence Bechtel. That's Bechdtel. On Reddit at I believe you kindly 1882. And then he has some master courses where he mentors other writers in poetry and writing on I believe oh no I'll have him comment more on that. But the name of the master classes is The Inner Voice of Poetry and Finding Your Voice in Poetry. And when I bring him up, I'll have him just comment a little bit on those classes for anybody who's interested. But let me play his flyer for you guys and get him up here. Hey, welcome back. Are you with us? Hello? Major Tom to ground control. Are you with us? Ground control to Major Tom. Come in. There you are. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm stepping through the door.
I swear.
All right. Welcome back.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. So the courses that I was offering were on master classes and on Quora, and both of them. The first cohort that I did had just finished by the end of the year and went really well. I had 25 in each class, so that was a lot of students to go through.
Wow. Nice. That is a
Yeah.
legit like classroom of people right there. That's fantastic. And are they like all
Yeah,
age
I only
ranges?
planned one.
And are they like all like different age ranges and
Yeah.
varying skill levels kind of thing? Just people from all walks of life?
Yeah, because yeah, absolutely. What I think the youngest person I had was 14, and the oldest I think was 82.
Oh wow. That's
So
that's
that
a
was
very
a
wide. That's awesome.
wide spectrum, but yeah, and both groups went really good. Even through the holiday season, people were on target and they got things done, and really enjoyed the class. My next one is going to be February the 4th on Udemy, and that will be a
Nice.
workshop on poetry
And
and finding your inner voice.
what kind of things do you? I mean, you can elaborate however much you want, but what kind of the things do you like typically do? Are they like writing assignments or prompts or just discussions or a little bit of
I
all
kind
that?
of
Or
do. We start with the discussions, and we get kind of an understanding of what everybody is trying to get out of the class. And what I do is then I write out exercises on prompts. I show them the technique of diagramming poems and how we start with your adjectives and maybe 10 lines or 10 sonnets that you're going to write, and then from there you're going to write your nouns, and those nouns need to have a rhythm, A B C D or A B B D or whatever the rhythm flow is going to be. If it's freestyle, it's whatever goes for them, that's great. And then we start putting the other pieces together that basically writes out the poem itself. And the goal is to get them to create the poem within a week.
nice. So
And
I
then
like how it's kind of like a.
then we look.
I was just gonna say I
It's
like how
kind
it's
of
kind
like
of like a
a
step-by-step process. Yeah.
yes, it is. And a lot of people they visualize and connect with that, and then they're like, okay, I want the poem to be about this, this, and this. So they have the idea, but they don't know how to identify parts of it so that they can write to it. And I call writing to it because each line is its own definition of what the poem is going to be about. So, and
Right.
I find, and people can correct me, but most of the people that I work with find it easier to start with the adjectives and then the nouns, because the nouns are what usually carries the rhythm of your poem. And by doing that, they're ready to describe what the poem's about, and then they'll identify the noun, and then they'll establish the rhythm.
Hmm. That's an
Pretty good
interesting.
stuff.
That's an interesting. Yeah. I do see
Yeah.
the merit. I do see the merit in that. And that is very interesting.
Yep.
Obviously for me it would depend what kind of poem I was writing, I guess. Like obviously
Yeah.
for like for rhyming poems, like, so do you typically like focus on, so do you give them like a like, okay, we're doing haikus today, or we're doing what, or is it kind of like uh freelance kind of
Mhm.
like,
I do
does
start
everyone?
out with haikus because they're the easiest for people to grasp in their head. Um, the rhythm of how that is defined, and it's easy for them to talk about something. It could be about nature, it could be about Christmas, it could be about birthday, it could be about the day of the week, you know. And it's so short, they don't feel intimidated to tackle that. And it's easy for people to see the syllables that they're going to do, the 5 7 5, and for them, a lot of people can connect with that. It's a natural, and it's been shown in psychology studies that that's a natural form for people to identify rhythm, the 5 7 5, and that's why the Japanese use it for their haikus, because it's the easiest for human nature to produce.
Hold
Can you
on.
hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of one.
Oh.
I fell on my
Mhm.
ass. Fuck, I really hate snow. Wait, hold on. Fuck, I really hate the snow. When will this shit? Wait, no. When will this
and
be
and
over? There
this
we go.
shit.
Yeah. When will this? Yeah. What? Yeah. When
There we
will
go.
this be over?
Yeah.
Yeah. I fell on my ass. Fuck, I really hate the snow. When will this be over? There we go. Yeah, haikus. Yeah, they haikus are very easy and very simple to just.
Well, the
Absolutely,
stream is
that's a
bad
good
today.
method of like like a good starting point for kind of anything, because it gets you when you're telling when you're writing anything, whether it be a sentence or a poem or but and the most simple base level, right? A sentence, right? It has to have a
Yes.
subject. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
so you learn when you learn the basic sentence of structure of a sentence, it gives you the structure
Yep.
for any body of work, right? And
Exactly. Exactly.
so
Yeah.
so narrowing it down to 3 sentences really like lets people dial in on the subject of the piece and what they're really trying to say, and really because the
Mhm.
tighter you have to make something, the more pronounced the things that you say are going to be, the more meaning and impact they
Right.
have. And that's
Yeah.
like that's not to say that like long form shit, doesn't have meaning or impact, but I think that like it like I've written a lot of writing prompts that were, you have to use 100 words or less, right? And being condensed
Yeah.
to such a short thing really pushes you to say what you need to say,
Yep.
precisely, because you have no room for any fluff. You know what I mean? You have to be exact, like precise,
Right.
like a scalpel with it. And starting at that base level really that's a genius idea. Starting at such a precise, like,
Yeah.
because you have to, yeah, it's a scalpel. Like writing a haiku is simple, right? Like, but it's not necessarily like it teaches technique. It teaches to be simple and
Yeah.
precise, and then build off of that. I really like that. That's cool. That's cool, man.
And it's not as intimidating versus a full poem on the first run. You're going to do A, B, C, D rhythm, and it's going to be 20 sonnets. That people are like, whoa, what are you talking about? uh, Haikus are easy to start off with. I think it's it flows better in the psyche of their mind. The creativity is flowing better, and it's quick. Like you did yours within what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Yeah, yeah. It's just I was just thinking. I don't know why. I don't know why I fell on my ass came to mind, but I was just like I fell on my ass. Fuck, I really no. Snow and
I
the
fell
ice has
on
just
my
been
ass.
on my mind lately, man.
I
I'm
fell
just
on
sick
my
of
ass.
this shit, dude. I'm so over it. So over it. I need it to be fucking
Absolutely.
summer again. Uh, my fucking
Yeah.
my one of my
And I'm
friends.
trying
He's
to.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh no, I think there might be a slight delay between our like.
I hear you just fine. Like it's clear
Oh,
and
okay.
everything.
All right, good. Well, anyway, let's get into your pieces. What do you got for us tonight?
So this one was inspired by listening to Depeche Mode's "Personal Jesus," which is one of my favorite from the '90s. That it just speaks to me in so many different levels. And actually, the video I was watching when this was on, when I was inspired by this, was a mashup between Manson versus Depeche Mode singing "Personal Jesus." And Marilyn Manson's version of it was so dark and eerie and his costumes were kind of grotesque, and
Oh
that's his
yeah,
persona. But
that's always yeah. It
it kind
is.
of hit me. It kind of hit me to write something very dark about your own personal Jesus.
Hmm. All right.
So,
Well, I
you
am
ready?
very intrigued, and
Yeah.
I will get myself out of here and let you get to it, man.
And,
Brandon, can we get that title back up here?
yeah, and I do want to make the disclaimer that it's not promoting any Satanistic or non-religious denomination at all. It's just a flow of what I felt in a dark place listening to this song. So just want to say it and let people know ahead of time. So, your own personal Jesus. In the howl hush of the midnight bell, where shadows with and nightmares dwell, a figure looms in fractured grace, a twisted God with no holy face. The crucifix dips in blackened sin. His hollow eyes pull you within, a Savior born of anguish seed. He whispers lies that sound like creed, but they are lies no other needs. Come closer, child, and taste my wine, a bitter elixir dark and divine. And kneel before me, confess your soul. I'll break you down to make you whole. But his hands, they burn with a lover's sting. A chains of devotion, lightning flow, every prayer a hollow plea, every hymn a blasphemy. Your screams are muffled by the choir's refrain. The organ groans in endless pain that no one fears. The faithful treble, their faces pale, for this Messiah wears a tattered veil. He smiles, jagged with sharpened teeth, promising solace with stealing beneath. No salvation lies in his embrace. Only the void of endless disgrace. So when you reach for his divinity's hand, beware the siphon's cloak in the man. His own personal Jesus may call you near, but his kingdom thrives on your darkest fear.
Nice. I like that. I like the rhyme scheme and the pattern of that. That was really good. That's the one that is like the first thing that stuck out to me was the rhyme scheme. And this sort of like slow measured cadence you had really like made the kind of creepiness that you were going for really stick out. And that I love and I was saying this to Sonya earlier, you kind of let your lines breathe a bit, and that really that added to the just atmosphere of it. And yeah, I really liked the very intense, gruesome atmosphere that you created with that. That was really cool, man. That was really
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, no, overall, like great writing with that, with the like the rhyme scheme and everything. You know me, I'm like the one who like really breaks down the words and the syllables, and I like to say I'm a word nerd. And yeah, no, really great multi-syllable patterns in that. And just very good, measured cadence and delivery. I like that, man. That was great. Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring Robert.
I do want to make a plug. Oh
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go ahead.
no,
Plug away.
I just put my. I'll wait till the end. I'll say it at the end.
Oh no, but I mean, okay, yeah, okay.
It's a good surprise.
By all means.
It's a surprise for you later.
Kurt, did you catch Lawrence's piece?
Yeah. No, I
Oh,
was just, for some reason my camera turned off.
Oh, yeah.
The last line, I like how you tied that all together at the end. The cadence to me is like a slowed down, how I heard it anyways, like a slowed down Edgar Allan Poe, like the Raven-esque, kind of just builds and builds and builds till the end.
And it brings you down, yeah. Because I wanted people to kind of see it as a submission at the end, because he drank from the wine that brought him down. Yeah,
it's beautiful, well written.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
It's a very powerful imagery, and I've always thought the concept of having a personal Jesus was meant to be a good thing. Now I'm not sure, because that was kind of scary.
Yeah, I like the twist. I really like the title, how the title is so misleading, and how it has that such a dark twist. I really like that. Yeah. for sure.
Yeah, it's just like watching that video with Marilyn Manson up there. I
Hmm.
pictured him being that figure, and in fact, some of the imagery was right from that video. I was like, "This is pretty powerful stuff." It just kept feeding me.
Yeah, no, and that's like again, you know, whether Marilyn Manson is your cup of tea or not, like he is one of those artists that fully embraces just being himself, and it doesn't give a fuck what anybody
Yes.
thinks. The full he puts it all out there and really lets just everything. You know what I mean? He just lets all of his demons out, expresses everything to the fullest because you know what I mean? He uses that as his outlet and untamed and unfucking censored. And believe me, people have tried.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, definitely some great place to take inspiration from and a great artist to take inspiration from because yeah, he's definitely one of the artists that like just fully like, he don't give a fuck, man. He's gonna let it out and it's not gonna, you know what I mean? uh yeah, yeah, definitely a great piece, definitely some great
Absolutely.
inspiration you took there for sure. um well, that being said, let's get to this second piece you got for us.
Yeah. So this is another dark piece, and it's called Destiny Knew You. The calendar
Okay.
flips, a page erased. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Here we go. It's another dark poem. It's called Destiny Knew You. The calendar flips, a page erased, yet destiny lurks, a shadowed trace. A new you waits in gilded chains, bounded by the curse of the same remains. You build your vows on fragile sand, clutching the dreams with tremendous hands. But the darkness laughs at you, a knowing sound. It laughs and owns the path you trade, spellbound. New year, new lies. The void decrees. Your fate is etched in ancient seas. No flame can burn where darkness breeds. No bloom will sprout from poisoned seeds. You light a candle, it glitters out. The whispers rise, a cruel devout. Each promise made because of a scar. A futile wish on a dying star. The mirror cracks beneath your gaze, a fractured truth, a ghostly haze. For every step, the shadow grows. Your faith was sealed long years ago. So chase the dawn, defy the night, but know you'll fall despite your fight. Destiny calls, its grip is true. There's no escape, no new you.
Wow, that is quite the angle on the new year, quite the flip on the new year, new you, and motto, huh? That you should have, man. You should have
That was
been on our New Year's episode. You really would have fucking shaken up everything with that one because we were all like doing these like big empowering poems that are like, "I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna take over the world. I'm fucking awesome," and then you're over here like, "Fucking New Year, new lies. Nothing's gonna change. You're full of shit.
Yeah.
You suck."
You're
Like,
doomed
God,
for the
that hurt.
mankind, you know.
That hurt. That hurt. I felt attacked.
Yeah.
I felt partially attacked by that one. That was a personal.
Well, it, it's it's actually a tribute to the failing day, which is today. Today, 80% of people's resolutions will fail.
I don't know what my resolution was. I think
I
I
didn't
think I
make
made.
any this year. I can't fail. I didn't make any
Yeah,
yet.
I don't think I can fail. I don't think I made any resolutions. Like not like concrete
See?
ones, really. I didn't say like, oh, this is my resolution. Um. Oh, although I have been like it's 4 day I don't know. I'm like 2 months without a cigarette and then like 4 days without nicotine at all. So I mean that wasn't really a resolution. It's just something that I've been doing or not doing, I guess.
There you go. There's the key.
So
That's
yeah.
right. That's the key. Don't think of it as a resolution, but think of it as something you're changing for yourself.
Yeah.
Without making a promise to yourself. Let it flow.
Yeah, pretty much. And like I literally just so when I quit smoking, like I kept a pack in my pocket like for like 2 months and I didn't touch it. And then same thing the past 4 days I've been walking around like I had the vape in my pocket, but I haven't touched it. And I'm just like I'm trying to like show myself that it's like my choice. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't even fucking control you. It's your choice. You're the one who chooses to pick it up, and you can just as easily choose to not pick it up. And it's like, but it's like if I don't have it on me, then like it's not about it's not like it's like to me it's like I'm like big on symbolism, and like that's why like I have it on me because it's like it forces me to make that choice. If I didn't have it, if I just left it at home when I went to work or whatever, like it wouldn't force me to make that choice, right? And yeah, I could always go buy another one, right? But it forces me to make the choice of actively every time I think about it, not doing it. And every time I do that, it gets enforced more and more because the more times you like enforce a behavior, the more times you're just gonna get used to that behavior of not. And I'll tell you what, like I literally after like 2 or 3 days, like I forgot I fucking like this past like when I was working Friday, like I didn't even remember that I had it in my pocket. Like I was just like, and I don't know if it was just because I was focused on work or what, but like it just because I got home. I think it was like 8 o'clock at night last night before I realized like, holy shit, I haven't even thought about my vape all day. I don't know why I just went off on a tangent about that, but like that was just something that that's just something I wanted to say because yeah, that is fucking what I've been doing different, I guess, in 2025, but it wasn't really necessarily a resolution. But yo, man, back to your piece. That was a really really well written again, with the scheme and the cadence. Um, great word choice, very well written. But man, that one was like way more depressing. Like you said, the other one was dark, and yeah, I can see how you meant. But this one was dark in another way. Like that one was like more gruesome. Like like that one was more like
the other one.
I don't. That one was more like Dexter dark, and this one was more like 13 Reasons Why or like Euphoria dark. You know what I mean? Like Dexter or like Hannibal Lecter is like gruesome and dark in that way, but then like Euphoria or 13 Reasons or whatever is like dark in a whole nother way, man. It's like it eats your soul and it like makes you feel like that was not a feel good poem at all.
No.
It was very well written, and that's good though, because here's the thing is if you can make me, and I was just saying this earlier when Robert commented on the emotional roller coaster, is if you can make me feel something, how whatever it is, whether it's depression or it's angst or it's jubilation or whatever the fuck it may be, you've done your job as a writer. Like you made me feel. You made me feel. You definitely. It wasn't a good feeling, but you definitely made me feel with that piece for sure. Yeah, and man, the fact that you were able to take it to such a like, just a dark, gritty, like a dark place with no fucking like,
no inspiration.
It just felt hell. It was like there's no hope. There's no hope here. It's. And you were able to capture the essence of there being no hope so well, and yeah, that's it's like when a author writes a good villain, like there's absolutely no hope for this like guy. There's he's gonna be just drenched in the darkness his entire life till the day he dies. Just that's the reality for most, you know, book or movie villains,
Yeah.
but we still love them anyway because of the way they're written. And you captured kind of that, like, writing a movie villain essence, like that. There's no hope, it's all dark, but I still love it. This is awesome, you know. I like it.
And it kind of the theme of reality bites hit me with that, because truth be told, 20% are only going to succeed with the resolutions. The other 80%, it's human nature. Our habits come back. We're doomed because we're humans to fail in our own credence, you know? And that's what I wanted to bring up. And it's not to give anybody hope that they can't, you know, fulfill the resolutions, but
Oh, you froze.
to me, they set you up for
Yeah.
failure.
You froze and I unfroze you with my magic
Oh,
powers.
thank you. There you go. There's the power. No, I just said I don't set myself resolutions. I set myself goals that are achievable, and I break them down so that I can do little pieces along the way to get to the bigger picture. To me, that's the better way to handle life. Not saying,
I
"Oh,
like
I'm going
it.
to quit smoking." Well, how are you going to do it?
It's
You know?
it's and I like that. That, you know, that kind of, that piece kind of embodies, like, you know, tough love in a way, you know, kind of. And we have a saying on here, you've probably heard it before, on me, because at the end of the day, it's all on you.
Yeah, that's
And
right. Perfect. Perfect.
yeah, Brandon, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, it's all on you, and it's all on you to kick yourself in the ass and do it. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, I definitely like that tough love aspect of, like, you know, there's no, like, magic fairy that's gonna, like, help you with your goals. Like, it's you, man. Like, just because it's a new year, you wake up and it's the same. You're living in the same house. You're going to the same job. Nothing is fucking changed. Nothing has changed. But but you know what? The other side of that too is the reason people like to do that is because it puts them in a certain mindset. And I think there is something to be said for New Year's resolutions because they put people in the mindset of wanting to change and wanting to work towards their goals. And that's the key. But here's the thing is most people lose sight of that and they just go back into their regular, oh, it's like they take it for granted and they're not, you got to hold that image of what you want in your head with clarity and not let go of it. And a lot of people just kind of let it fade and fall back into the mundane.
And to me, New Year's resolutions is just commercialization.
Yeah.
You watch TV, you listen to radio, you listen to podcasts, ads, and everything. It's all about making your life easier by doing this: weight loss, quit smoking, better gut, better health. You know, and I'm all for good changes in our lives, but people have to realize there's a science to it that says to break a bad habit, it takes 21 days. Well, each day represents a step towards your goal of whatever you're trying to change. It's not a magic pill like the JPL ones that are on, you know, the to lose weight that people can sit there and inject every week. You know,
Right.
these drugs are bringing false hope to people because they think it's the go-to end all. I'm going to lose weight. There's more to it than that. It's going to take a long process that, in order to change it, you're going to have to do smaller
Yeah.
steps to get to the bigger
Yeah.
prize.
It's about accountability, and it's about accountability towards yourself. It's about
Absolutely.
having, and like I was talking, and it kind of loops back to my fucking tangent. Now I'm kind of glad I went off on a tangent about my whole nicotine thing, because it kind of loops back to that is accountability and power and having, taking ownership and accountability of your own power, um and your own free will. And like I said, yeah, at the end of the day it comes down to accountability to yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And
um
that is so true. And it's what has empowered me to break my addiction, to quit drinking, to stop meth. I don't even think about that stuff anymore. It's out of sight, out of mind. It's a miracle that I held myself accountable for it, and it just kind of melted away. It just didn't become a part of my life anymore.
Well, congratulations, man.
I learned along the way a lot of life values, and that's what the Muse in Me is all about. And what I write about is everything I experienced in those dark places.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? That is the best fuel for the fire. You know, to and I've talked about this multiple times before. And I talked about it right at the beginning. When you're using your personal demons and the things that you've gone through to fuel your passion, to fuel your art, it's always going to sound more authentic. It's always going to sound more genuine, and it's always going to just be better art in general. It's going to feel like it has more substance. Yeah, that is absolutely the best fuel for the fire, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it resonates with people. It speaks to people, and it gives you clarity of what you've gone through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. I'm gonna bring Kurt and Robert up and see what they thought. Kurt, what'd you think, man? You're muted.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Oh, a lot better.
There you go.
All right. I loved it. I hate the New Year's resolution bullshit. It's I'm gonna hit the gym. I'm gonna do this. No, you're gonna get a quick little significant other, and you're gonna forget all about that shit. And I'll see you next year.
Yeah,
It's
because people end up beating themselves up about it.
It's like because you amp yourself up. If you do it over time, it really and you intricate it into your daily behaviors, that's when it makes a difference.
Exactly.
It's not hitting it hard for a week or two and then, all right, we nailed it. We're good for the year.
But thank you, businesses, for commercializing it and making us feel like shit when we don't do it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Robert, what'd you think?
That's definitely the darkest take I've heard on the New Year, new you bullshit. And I agree with Dylan that it's a different kind of darkness than the other poem. I find the utter lack of hope to be a bit like more the kind of darkness that scares me personally. I mean, I've never done resolutions. I just don't see the need for them. I also do goals. I've never heard it put that harshly before.
That's why I call it influenced by reality bites, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, definitely. I love that perspective. And I love that piece, man. Thank you for and both of your pieces actually. Thank you for being here. All right, guys. Last but certainly not least, I know it has been a long show tonight, but we have one more guest for you. I'm gonna read some stuff, and then we will get on out of here for the night. My man Robert Foster is back. He is an author. He's got a book on Amazon right now called Morgan's Mount. You can go visit his website, robertjfosterwrites.wordpress.com, and you can also follow him on Facebook at Robert Foster Writes. And he's got some new books coming to you very soon that he's going to tell us about in just a minute. And I will play his flyer and get him up here. Oh yes.
The only good thing about the cottage was the coffee machine. It was a compact, drafty place constructed of densely packed round stones. that failed to hold in heat. He had drunk 3 cups of coffee by the time the door opened and Alan walked in, and he was still shivering. A rush of biting air wafted toward him and was not cut off until another form huddled in behind Alan.
Hey, welcome
Hello
back.
again.
How have you been?
Good. I've been working on short stories a lot, and a lot of like behind the scenes stuff, like editing, formatting, like the like unsexy things that have to be done. So
Just boring, mundane
the book won't
bullshit.
suck, you know. Yes.
Yeah, I feel you. I also seen that you you were traveling a bit, and I don't know if I had asked you this, but I wanted to ask you, has that, and because I haven't really traveled much, and I've always wanted to, for the sake of my writing, has that like seeing new places, like has it helped you in your writing process, or like inspired you in ways?
Absolutely. It like changes the way I think. It teaches me random facts, and a lot of people have told me like I should write about my my travel, but I don't really feel the need to, because it kind of finds its way into my fiction, like like uh, there's a moment in my first book, Morgan's Mouth, that's like straight from my life, like so yeah, it definitely influences my art.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, I really, and I'm someone, like I'm not like a Lord of the Rings like freak or anything, but I'm someone who's always admired that, like what they did with, the Scottish scenery, in those movies, and like had such an appreciation for, like, in books, whenever an artist can like really capture like a landscape, or like what it's like to journey through a certain landscape or setting. um and yeah, no, that's something that I've always really loved. And I mean, I think it's because like my mom, her favorite channel was like the Travel Channel. She was like big into like Andrew Zimmer and Bourdain and all those guys. And I've always just had like a love for, um I don't know, just places I've never been, I guess. And so I on some level I'm like envious of you and all your travels and your like cool desserts and shit that I see you eating. You see all, yeah, I see you with your fucking cool fucking like Swedish cakes and shit. Fucking jealous, man. Well, it's good to have you back, and
Good to be back.
both back home and back on the show. And so what have you been working on? You got, I mentioned in your intro that you had some new material type stuff that you've been working on. I'm not sure, you mentioned 2 different books, but I'm not, if you want to elaborate a little bit on them.
Yeah. My novella, Crab Island, is on Amazon. But my short story just came out. It's called Doggone Catastrophe. It's in this book here, Collective Chaos.
Ooh, Collective Chaos. That's a cool title. That's a good title.
Yeah. It's an anthology of uh, dystopian themed stories. And
Cool. Yo,
um,
I am someone who really like, and I've been using the Audible app for like 15 years, and
Mhm.
one of my favorite things to listen to is anthologies. I love, and I've always wanted. Yo, man, again, I'm jealous because I've never been part of one, and I would love to be part of one. It seems like such a cool thing. It's like a collection of like, you know, just storytellers with all tackling like a prompt from a different perspective. I really love that. So, what was the like prompt, so to speak, for this project?
just like any um, uh, dystopian story. And
Okay.
um, when I heard that, um, I suddenly like wanted to write the most lighthearted dystopian story I could think of, and this came out.
Okay. Okay. All right. So kind of like a more lighthearted because those you're right in the sense that yeah, those 10 any dystopian kind of literature I've always felt has a very like gritty, edgy, dark, almost depressing, sad kind of feel to it.
Yeah,
That's one of the reasons that I never really liked like those Divergent movies. I don't know if you've seen those.
no, I haven't.
Um, but I never really like got into that kind of literature for that exact reason is because it always kind of felt too like depressing, just the overall vibe. So I am interested to see a sort of lighter take on it. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I will. I'll just drop myself out here and I'll let you get to it.
Okay. All right. We go to the White House now, where my next guest is the distinguished first dog, a black and white Springer Spaniel, stood behind a podium. My fellow Americanines, she said, and all dogs across the world, it is my duty to explain the, the new rules for human conduct. Rule 1: humans must act like good boys. If they do so, they'll be given treats and head scratches. If they're bad boys, they'll be bopped on the nose with newspapers. Rule 2: if a dog rolls over onto its back, the human must begin belly rubs immediately. And Rule 3: no chocolate for humans. If we can't have it, neither can they. But I love chocolate. The political pooch signed off, returning to Vexorg. What's going on? I blurted out. Haven't you figured it out yet? Said Mr. Bonkers, taking his first bite of the sandwich. With peanut butter on his face, he said, Earth is ours now. He licked at the peanut butter on, on his snout. Mr. Bonkers, I said. Stop calling me Mr. Bonkers. My name is Gorpo of the planet Panxataxia in the galaxy of Nub. Think you can remember that? My mouth dropped open, but no sound came out. I'd like to bring on my next guest, said Vexorg, the distinguished feline Ambassador Pebbles. The screen split again and showed a gray cat with long whiskers staring grumpily into the camera. Hello, Vexorg. My name isn't really Pebbles. It's Vakamaka from Planet Sis, and I told you that before the show. Oops, said Vexorg, laughing as he spoke. The cat held up paper and recited, "We, the felines, hereby acknowledge the superiority of the canines and promise not to start any nonsense, hullabaloo, shenanigans, or malarkey. In turn, we ask that you leave us alone for once so we can chase mice or whatever." "The cats are aliens too?" I asked. My dog stared at me. "Thanks, Pebbles," said Vexorg. The cat opened his mouth to protest just as the camera cut back to a single frame. "My name isn't really Pebbles, meow meow meow," mocked an off-screen producer. "Stop it," laughed Vexorg. "You're killing me over here." He doubled over in a slew of bark laughs. I stared at Mr. Bonkers. "Are we still best friends?" I had to know. I couldn't help it. He tilted his head, and his little ears flopped before he said, "Yes, you're still my good boy, and before you ask, we're not mad at humans. We just don't think you're very good at running a planet."
Oh my fucking god. How can you not love that? How can you not love that? That was fucking awesome. Patricia, were you watching? Please, I hope Patricia was watching that. So we have another artist that I don't know if you've met her, but we have another artist named Patricia Ray that comes on here, and she has 2 books actually. They are all from the perspective of animals.
Oh, cool.
And they all have that like I don't know, something about your story just like tapped into like her, like it could be almost from the same universe. That was so, oh man, I love that. Like that kind of George Orwell type of energy that you guys tapped it, you guys kind of tap into. You know what I'm talking about, Animal Farm?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of like it has that vibe. It has that George Orwell like Animal Farm vibe that, and I'll have to get you on an episode with her sometime. But that was absolutely fantastic. I was giggling through the whole thing. I mean, fucking amazing. And I love how and here's the other thing that reminded me of Patricia's work in particular, because also you made comments about human society, and that is something that she does frequently. Her books, um God, the titles are escaping me right now, but her books are from the perspective of animals, and they are conspiracy animals who are basically, like they're trying to save the humans from the glowing boxes and the lizard people, and like they're like basically trying to save the planet from humans who are fucking it up. And I love how you kind of commented on that same reality, and I love especially the last line where you're like, we just don't think that humans are too good at running a planet. But you did it from this very, Orwellian, I guess you could say, I don't know if I'm making that word up, but Orwellian kind of perspective, this Animal Farm type perspective that was just like so like it has such a feel good type, like it was such a good recovery from Lawrence's piece. I needed that boost in my soul. I needed that like uplifting, like animals, like how like saving the world type shit. That was great. Fucking Wonder Pets for the fucking win. Yeah, that was great. That was great. I love that, from just the conception to the characterization of the animals, to just ever, and the commenting on human society, everything, man. That was awesome. That was awesome. I loved it. I'm bringing these guys up and see what they thought. Kurt, what'd you think?
Oh, I loved it. I would go there. I think I would accept all those responsibilities. I prefer dogs over people, anyways.
Me too.
But yeah, no, I loved it. It very, very well written. I could picture uh, just just like you said, kind of an Animal Farm esque like movie off of it. Like it was great.
Thanks.
For sure. Lawrence, what do you think?
Did you point it to me?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. I was looking over at my dog, and I said to her, I said, "What do you think? Are we ruining this life for you right now?" It was very good. Very, very. I liked it because it was such clear lines that I could keep the imagery going in my mind, and it just flowed together well. And I even could listen to you and look at my dog and ponder the same things that you were saying. And so I like that. That's a true artisan approach to that writing style. It was very good, Robert. And my dog probably is answering me right now, and I'm not paying attention to her. But the cats are up here going, "You know, you're ruining it for us right now,
dude." And I just, man, can we just talk about some of the names, man? You just like head on fucking nailed it with these names.
Yes.
Pebbles, are you kidding me? Pebbles, and I knew as soon as you said Pebbles, it was gonna be like I pictured this cat in my head before you even described the cat. This is just you just picked these names so perfectly, and they said everything they needed to about the character, and I think that like goes to show like like we were talking about earlier, how when you have to condense something, you really got to say what you need to say, and you got to say it in the least words possible and very precisely. And I think you did that very well, just not only in your word choice and your description, but like the naming of the characters. They were names that really made you feel their personality without having to describe too much of it or go into deep, because you had some limited words. You know what I mean? You couldn't give them as much spotlight as you could in a longer story, but somehow you made me like just appreciate each of the characters. Like I mean, what was it, like 5 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, and I appreciated. Pebbles is my favorite though. Pebbles is like Pebbles is up there, and so the star of Patricia's, it's the front cover of the book, and the star of or the main character is this cat called Chester the cat, and he has he's on the front cover of the book, and he has a like tinfoil. He's a hat, like, or he's a cat perched on a fence. He's got like crazy eyes, and his hair is all standing up on end, and he's got this like tinfoil hat, like perched like on his head. And man, him and Pebbles would be, dude, he would recruit Pebbles in a heartbeat. Like they would be like, they would take over the world together. I definitely got to get you on an episode with Patricia, because man, that I have never seen two writers capture like that.
Yeah, I don't
that
think I've...
essence, you know, because the real trick of it is not only being able to tell a good story and still have like where it's funny and kind of cutesy or whatever, but like adding that extra element of really commenting on like society as a whole and human society. And I mean, even just like stupid little things like, oh, if we can't have chocolate, they can't have chocolate either. Like, I love how you did those little nods. And but yeah, that extra added element of commenting on human society while still keeping it lighthearted and fun. I really think there's like you know, there's a lot of talent that comes with that, and that's kind of a hat trick, and I really appreciate that.
Cool, thanks.
It is, because
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You can take characters and build on them, that the persona fits.
You're very quiet.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? It went to my watch. I don't know why it did that. But anyways, what you do with characters' names and characterizations is phenomenal, because that to me is a genius work. And I know I'm writing a novel right now, and I'm having a hard time with it. And come up with names that fit the person is hard. Okay. Did I fade off again?
No, you actually came back in. You came back in. I was in your mic. I was in your mic settings trying to fix it for you. And I don't know if I must have clicked on something.
But
okay.
I'm writing a novel too, and to come up with names that reflect the character's personality, it takes days for me to do it. And kudos to you for doing it. It's hard. It's hard work, but true artists.
People tell me I don't even look like a Dylan, so I don't know. I guess.
Oh, you look like you look like a Matt.
A Matt? I look like a Matt. I guess my mom didn't have that power then. I wish my name was Pebbles though. Wouldn't that be cool if my name was Pebbles? I can. Dude, there's only two things you can be if your name is Pebbles: a prostitute or a serial killer. Like there's only two options for you. So if your name is Pebbles or a clown, or yeah, both. You can be both.
One of both.
Yeah, fuck it. Oh man.
Yeah.
See. This is like I said. His story is the boost we needed in our souls after you dragging us into the darkness. No, but that's the other thing I like about. Well, that's why I say, and everybody, not everybody, but Kurt asked me before the show, and people frequently ask me, like, is there like a theme? And usually, unless it's like a holiday, we don't have a theme. And this is exactly why, because we can have those deep moments, and then we can like have these lighthearted moments too. And this is exactly why I love just everybody bringing their fucking whatever, you know? And yeah, I mean, this is kind of, if you think about it, this is we do anthologies each week. If I just printed out the manuscripts for this episode, it would be a yeah. I mean, you know what though? I won't say too much on this, but there's a few people I'm working on this with. There might be a Lostboys anthology at some point, like actually coming, like a copy of something. Obviously, I can't get fucking all 100 to 300, whatever, however many people are in the community via Facebook and YouTube and everybody in the anthology at once. I'm gonna try to get as many people as I can, and I'm gonna like message people and get like a list together. But there'll be more coming on that later. But yeah, just a little tease for something in the future. Just my own little plug. But that being said, I am going to. Oh wait, no, yeah, Robert. Sorry. You got your there we go. I was like, I'm gonna get these two out of here, and I was like, no, I clicked on the wrong person. All right, so you got one more. Is it another short story from your newest work? You said.
It's what will be my my next novel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what's this one called?
It's called Windy Row.
Windy Row.
Yeah, I'm hoping to publish maybe in February, maybe. But
that's not too far off. All right.
No,
well,
it's not.
I am.
Progress.
That's cool, man. All right. Well, so is this a collection of short stories, or is this a excerpt from a overall narrative?
It's a novel. So
it is okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it is an excerpt. I should have written excerpt from Windy Row. My bad. But
you're good.
people get the point. I will get myself out of here and let you get to it.
Okay. Yeah, it's about two pages. All right. The ghost girl swung around quickly and jumped. She went so high that Brad had to look upward to track her. It wasn't possible that she was weightless, but his eyes told him differently. I love to paint, shouted Dorcas as she returned to Earth. We can paint all the rocks. She turned to Nicole. You can paint with us. A visible shiver was Nicole's only reply. Dorcas didn't see it. She was too busy rummaging through the backpack, searching for the perfect color. She intended to paint Nicole and would need the proper spray can to get the big girl's magnificent red hair right. Dorcas laughed and smiled as she searched. Her laughter rose in volume until it drowned out the river and echoed off the buttress and bridge above. It went on and on until Derek couldn't take it anymore. "Shut up, you freak," shouted Derek as he put his hands to his ears in a futile attempt to block the sound. Dorcas stopped and looked up from the backpack. She saw the big boy's face and read the expression of anger and disgust there. The paint forgotten, Dorcas drooped in place and began to cry. Each sob spread through the air on a cold breeze, chilling Brad's arm and Nicole's legs. When it seemed the cold, tear-filled air would become unbearable, Elizabeth took action. "You made my friend cry," said Elizabeth, advancing on Derek once again. He didn't respond and didn't move. Derek looked frozen, not from the cold, but from the icy stare of the gray girl reaching out toward him. "You're scared of us, aren't you?" asked Elizabeth. "You should be. Do you have any idea what we could do to you? We could give you nightmares until you're 100. Hey, Dorcas, should we give him a nice scare?" Without waiting for a reply, Elizabeth stepped forward, raised her hands like raking claws, and shouted, "Boo!" loud enough to make the others jump in place. His eyes went wide, and Derek stumbled backward, tripping over his own feet. He reached out a hand to steady himself and was almost on the ground when his feet went out from under him, and he felt himself going down past the point where the ground should have been. Hands snatching at the air, Derek reached for handholds that didn't exist. He fell and fell. He saw a gray face looking down bit before the thrashing river caught him. Elizabeth looked at the loose rock and the indentation Derek's foot had made when he tripped on it. She walked to the edge and looked into darkness. There was no sign of the boy. She panned left to right, searching for any indication of his fate. Elizabeth felt a flutter of satisfaction. She'd just been playing a joke, but maybe somewhere in the back of her mind, she'd wanted this to happen. "Dorcas, I can't see him," Elizabeth called. The little girl flew quickly to her side as Brad and Nicole shivered on the ledge, keeping their distance from the cliff. This couldn't be happening. None of it was possible. The ghost light cast down into the water below, illuminating white rushes crashing over ragged, jagged stones. The water pounded down a small hill and rounded a corner. Dorcas's light fell upon a twist in the river that calmed near a small beach. "There!" she shouted. Movement on the beach. A dark shape shook on the ground, flopped 3 times, then went limp. A white gas rose from its place and formed a humanoid shape in the air. It floated still, as though unsure where to go. Elizabeth, gasped Dorcas. He's dead.
Oh shit! Sorry, I was kind of like just like sitting, like absorbing the story. I wasn't expecting to like just end so abruptly. Man, something that really jumps out to me is your description. Like it is the type of story that allows you to just have that, or at least me. I'm a very visual person. I just have that like movie in my head. And that's something I kind of do naturally, but you definitely help it along with your description. You're a very, very descriptive writer, and that's something that just stuck out to me right away. And that's something I really, really appreciate because when you can get me to just vividly imagine the scenery and what's happening, like you've already kind of done like 70% of the work, or 75% of the work in terms of like creating the story and creating a believable story in my mind, and then, much like the other piece, I feel that you are very good at, and I don't know how far into this book this is, but obviously this is just a short excerpt. You're very good at like creating a sense of like familiarity with a character quickly, and I don't know if it might be your narration as well, your delivery and the way you read it, but I just for some reason do tend to feel like a sense of familiarity with, and I've noticed this in the past and on past episodes too, with the character, and you're good at doing that with just a few short lines or just like dialogue or just little subtle things here and there, and I really think it's commendable how much you're able to like flesh out a character in such few words, and kind of like make us have like a feel for each character individually. So you're very good at description, very good at characterization. Those are the two things that like really, really stick out to me with your writing. And also, man, I'm just intrigued. Like I want to hear like that's my favorite genre is fantasy and science fiction. And I'm definitely intrigued. I would just want to hear more about all this ghost shit and this. Yeah, I want to hear more, man. It wasn't enough for me to like really sink my teeth into. You know what I mean? Like it's like you gave me like a bite, like it's just when somebody hands you one of those fucking like not even like a snack size Snickers or like whatever, when someone hands you one of those little square ones, you're like, fuck you. It's not even no, that's what it felt like, just like a little tiny like, but and I definitely want more of like you definitely gave me a sense of like an overall universe and like I guess you in the fantasy writing terms you would call it like a magic system. Like you kind of gave me a sense of all that, but without like revealing too much about it. It was all like, you know what I mean, shrouded in mystery. And I guess that being said, you picked a good excerpt because it did leave me kind of wanting more and expecting more. And that's what a good excerpt from a book kind of should be, is like, oh, well, now go read the whole fucking book, jackass.
Goodness,
yeah.
What I want.
yeah.
That's the goal.
absolutely, man. Yeah, you did a good job, man. That was a good little part there, and I definitely want to see it when it comes out. I am my dad's ahead of me. He's already bought and read your fucking book. I haven't even fucking gotten Morgan's Mount yet. I keep meaning to fucking get around to it, and I keep forgetting. You know what? Hold on here. Should I put it on Amazon right now? Well, Brandon, you know what? You're my fucking producer. Write it down. Make sure I don't fucking forget. Morgan's Mount.
Yeah,
I gotta fucking buy Morgan's Mount. And what was the other one? What was the other one that you just put out a little while ago?
Crag Island.
Crag Island. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
working on the Crag Island 2 right now. So that's a series I'm working on.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I mean, sorry. I do appreciate like standalones, but I am definitely that's like if I were to pick my obviously like fantasy and sci-fi, and then like I don't tend to really maybe once in a while, but I don't tend to pick up like standalones too often. So I tend to get into more series because like I like to I don't know, I just like to have something that like have something to like sort of look forward to and like sort of like so that's cool. I would definitely like to see more of everything you write, man. But a series from you would be really cool, especially if it was like um fuck, I just had there was this certain like there was a show that I was gonna mention to you, but it slipped my tongue. Something my mom used to watch. It's like it was on like it's something about ghosts, and it gave me like the same. It gave me kind of the same vibe as that little snippet.
I
Like
wonder.
ghost. It was this girl who I think it was this girl who like talked to ghosts. What? Yeah, Ghost Whisperer.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah, I
Thank
saw
you,
a
Brandon.
little
You
bit of
fucking
that.
saved the day, man. Ghost Whisperer. It kind of that piece
Yeah.
kind of felt like a little like, and obviously I haven't really watched that in a long time. But like I definitely got like Ghost Whisperer vibes, and that would be definitely like with the little taste I got, it felt like the type of universe that could carry a series as well. I don't know if you have any plans for that. I don't know if you whatever, but that it definitely felt like just a greater universe, like that. They're a very like you. It felt like you had a lot fleshed out, and I don't know how much you do have fleshed out in particular, and whatever you know you want to reveal is whatever. But it definitely felt like a greater universe that could go anywhere. And I definitely like to see it. Definitely like to see it. So keep me up. What do you have a title for this? For that? Oh wait, that was the title of the book. I just had it up on the
Yeah,
fucking. I'm so stupid.
Windy World.
That is the name of, and you're thinking about a
Yeah, that's
February
the book title.
February. Okay, and you're thinking about a February publication. You said.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay. All right, let's not.
Editing is almost done. I need to
format.
Yeah.
Is that going up on Amazon too?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. No, I definitely that like I said, man, that kind of shit is like my bread and butter. The sci-fi fucking fantasy shit is like really my shit. So I'm definitely gonna have to go check that out, man.
Cool.
Yo. All right. So I'm gonna see what they thought of your ghost story excerpt. Your Curtis.
We good?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I was making sure my mic was on and stuff. It was awesome. Like he said, the descriptive writing, it kind of brought me back to like reading Gary Paulson for the first time. He was one of those really like in the Hatchet. He explained where he was so well that you could almost picture yourself in that scenario. And that was like listening to that. That was exactly how I felt. It was like,
Nice.
oh crap, very descriptive. It's like, oh yeah, you immerse yourself in it, and it's awesome. That's something I envy. That's why I write short poems and stuff, because I don't have the memory to keep track of all that stuff.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love that you brought up Gary Paulson, because now that you mentioned that, it's like I said I don't read a lot of like standalone novels, but that is one of like the best standalone novels that like I've read personally. Like I love fucking Hatchet. I love that you brought that up, and you're absolutely right with his description.
It's crazy. It just like your story, like it paints a picture. It makes you feel like you're there.
You haven't read Hatchet?
No.
Well,
Oh man.
I believe there's 3 books that like they're continuances. I can't remember the names of the other 2, but they're really good.
Wait, I didn't know Hatchet. There was more books. I thought it was a standalone.
I believe he went back and to go search the wreckage or something in a second one.
Huh.
If I remember right.
I've never. I'm gonna have to go check that out.
18 years since I read that book.
Because I've only read Hatchet, like the first one, and for in case you're not familiar, and Robert, it seems like you're not.
No, I'm not.
For the rest of you, so it's about this kid, and he crash lands, and all he's got, the reason the book is named Hatchet is because he crash lands and he goes out into the wilderness, and all he's got is this hatchet, and he's got to kind of just learn to like survive and live. And he's really not like he's not what you would call like a good kid. Like he's kind of a douchebag at the start of the book. Like it kind of gives you the impression that he's kind of not like the coolest kid. Like he's kind of an asshole, and so it's more of a story of like, the way I read it, at least, like self-redemption, but he also like he learns essential survival skills, like, and it's cool because it really goes into like that, like the description not only of like the land and the environment, but like the description of like what he's thinking in his head and the thoughts and the emotions that he's processing and dealing with as everything's going on.
It's a good read. And the other 2 are called Brian's Winter and Brian's Return. Those are when he goes does something in the second book and then he returns back in the third. It's kind of just a cool read if you're out hunting or something. That's when I would do my reading.
Yeah, it's a lot like I mean, it's a little more grown up, but it's a lot like if you've ever read My Side of the Mountain, it's a lot like that. It's a little more of like if My Side of the Mountain is for like elementary and middle school, Hatchet is a little more high school. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just like in terms of just like it has a little more adult theme, although My Side of the Mountain really kind of was like, now that I think about it, like the kid ran away from home where his family was poor and his mom and dad like fought all the time, and then he ran away from home to go live in a fucking tree. That's pretty dark now that I think about it. But yeah, I mean, just Hatchet sort of is like that, but has more like redemption and self-discovery themes, I would say. It's a good read. It's a good read. Go check it out for sure.
All right.
It just made me think about a poem I wrote. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You guys are familiar with the book The Little Prince?
Oh yeah.
Everybody gets a copy in their teens, and it builds your self-esteem, you feel better, blah blah blah. Well, I wrote an anti-poem of The Little Prince, and it's pretty dark.
Oh God!
I'll have to put it up there sometime.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? Go post it. Go post it in the shameless plug. Go post it in the Facebook Lost Boys Facebook group, and everybody can see it. All the Lost Boys can see it. And then
I was actually looking for it.
And next time I bring you on, you can perform that if you want, for sure. But it's been a pleasure having everyone
Robert,
tonight.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But I did have one announcement for you, Dylan.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've opened up an e-commerce site. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah,
Can you guys
absolutely.
hear me? Oh, okay. Called Urban Ink and Origin, and I'm going to donate 10% to the show every month that people buy any of the poems that are printed on merchandise. So 10% of the sale will go to the show.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
Thank
I'll
you.
send that formally. I'll send that formally to you, Dylan, so you can post it. The website's going up on Monday, called Urban
Cool.
Ink and Origin.
Cool. Wow, man, that's awesome. That is
People
fucking.
that
That is
buy
really cool.
poetry stuff there.
That is really, really
Yeah,
fucking
our
cool,
goal
man.
is to get. Yeah, our goal is to set to donate 100 a month to you to the show.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So share the link,
Yo,
buy the
I mean,
merchandise.
yeah,
Help
absolutely.
support the show.
Yeah, no. So actually, email. Actually, I'll talk to you on Messenger a little bit, but
Yeah, that's
y-
fine.
yeah, email me or message me like all the stuff, and I'll put it up for sure. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, yeah.
that sounds
Hell
good.
yeah, man.
That sounds good.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. That's
All
awesome.
right.
Well, dude,
Cheers,
I
guys.
appreciate you, and I appreciate all you for being here. It has been a fucking pleasure. I
Thanks,
know it's
dude.
been a long, long night. Thank you, everybody, for sticking in here and reading your pieces, and thank you for everybody who stayed and watched. I noticed we had about 3 to 5 people stay till almost the very end here. And thank you everybody who participated and watched, everyone who continues to support the group and to support me and everybody. Thank y'all so much. It's been great. Catch y'all next Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Peace out, guys.